the real world, things don't start and stop on a dime. So why are you coding your video games that way? It's hard to put your finger on why, but moving around your sprites just feels a little more natural in some games. It feels like your characters have weight and momentum. When you try to change directions, it takes them a second to steer around and get going at full speed again. If you're new to game development, you're probably moving your sprites around by pointing them in a direction and then telling them to move at a constant speed. That's not the way it works in the real world, where things start to move slowly, build up speed, and then slow down again before coming to a stop. Pro game developers use all kinds of complex math techniques to get their sprites moving around more realistically, but today I want to show you a couple of simple techniques you can use in your own projects. Stick around until the end because I'm going to show you a custom block you can use in your own projects that will make smooth movement a snap. The easiest way to code smooth movement in a video game is by using mouse controls. Start with a green flag and a forever loop. Let's tell our character to constantly point at your mouse pointer. And now let's tell it to move forward. So we're moving at a constant speed now. Let's add acceleration and deceleration. We'll need to grab this light blue sensing block, which tells Scratch how far away your sprite is from the mouse pointer. Let's divide that number by 10 and insert those blocks back into our move block. Now we're moving nicely. If you don't want your character flipping upside down, set its rotation style to left-right using this blue motion block. So let's take a minute to try to understand how our smooth movement script works. How does dividing the distance from your mouse cursor speed your sprite up and slow it down? So at the beginning of our movement, our mouse cursor is always in the same location as our sprite, at a distance of 0. I start to move my mouse cursor, but at first it's very close to my sprite, so my speed is slow. As my cursor gets farther ahead of the sprite, the distance increases and my speed ramps up. When my cursor reaches the point where I want to go, my sprite starts to catch up and the distance gets smaller again, and so does my speed. You can use a similar technique to get your sprite moving around with keyboard controls. But if we don't have a mouse pointer to guide us, what do we get our sprite to accelerate towards? We'll solve that by creating a second invisible object that our sprite can chase after. Let's create a new sprite and call it Target. It's going to be invisible in the end, so what it looks like doesn't really matter. I'll just draw a circle for now. So let's get our target sprite moving around with normal keyboard controls. We'll start with a green flag and a forever loop. If we press the right arrow key, we'll change our x coordinates by 10. A left key press will change our x by -10. An up key will change our y coordinate by 10. And a down key will change our y by -10. Okay, our target sprite is moving the way we want, and now we have something our player sprite can point at. We don't need to actually see this circle moving around to interact with it, so let's add a hide block to get it out of the way. Back in our player sprite, we'll put down a green flag and a forever loop. Now put down a blue point towards block and tell your sprite to point towards the target. Just like we did with our mouse pointer controls, we'll tell our player to calculate its distance from the target sprite and divide that by 10. Put these two blocks into a move block, and now we'll test it out. Smooth as silk. So there is a way to get smooth movement working without pointing at anything at all, but it involves some high school level trigonometry, and we're a little worried it might break your brains. To save you all from the trauma, I've gone ahead and done the math for you and put the results into this super simple custom block. Just follow the link to Atomec Studios in Scratch and drag this big red define block into your backpack. To use it, drag your define block into any sprite and put this custom block into a forever loop. Type a movement speed into the white bubble and click the green flag to start moving around like a pro.
I feel the liftoff. The clock has started. Roger.